Oh my god, Wombo.
Yo, okay, so with the new arena map coming out and potential ranked arena down the road, there's no better time to hype up arenas. Arenas is where I spend most of my time in New World. I'm a player coming from the FPS game Destiny 2, where I love playing the 3v3 game mode Trials of Osiris. What made Trials of Osiris so addicting was the progression system, and if you were able to win so many matches in a row without losing, you would be rewarded special endgame weapons and armor. New World desperately needs something to grind for in a PvP mode that is not driven by the PvP rewards track. Even tying the seasonal leaderboard where the top 10 players are given a unique cosmetic to flex would be a huge incentive and super easy for the devs to implement. I'm heavily invested in this type of game mode for its competitive nature, the fun banter that usually sparks, and the intensity that comes when two equally skilled teams face off. I attribute my top 10 placement in arenas wins last season not to my skill, but to the low player count compared to OPR, the lack of rewards and PvP track experience gained from the game mode, and I'm hoping the addition of ranked arena in the future will help populate arenas. Playing arenas definitely raised my PvP skill ceiling much higher than when I was actively playing OPR. I believe this is because the larger player count and zergy nature of OPR, where the teams can be unbalanced and you are fighting so many different builds at once. In arena you are face to face against only 3 other players, so you can learn how to play against and counter certain builds and learn when to engage and disengage from fights and timing when the iframe ability is being thrown at you. In this video, I am to provide insight on what I have learned from the time I've spent in arenas and provide some tips and tricks to help you secure that W. First thing you need to do when starting an arena match is think about what build you want to bring in. Try to keep in mind that this is a much different setting than the mode like OPR. If you are used to playing back as a low comm musket player, not saying there are no good ones in arena, but you are way more reliant on having to have a healer on your team, and if the enemy team finds out you are squishy, you'll be the first person to get focused. I highly recommend anyone in light armor to run no less than 200 con in arenas unless you are queuing with a healer. If you are in the trading post looking for arena gear, picking up lower gear score items is not a bad idea since it will get bumped up to 700 when you're in a match. This will bump up your attribute points, so it's a good idea to respec the attributes right when you get into arena game. The builds I have the hardest time against in arena are Firestaff Ice Gauntlet, which the clip in the background shows how oppressive Firestaff Ice Gauntlet can be, Sword and Shield Spear for that stun lock capability, the highly skilled Ice Gauntlet Void Gauntlet build, shout out to Isaac Foreman for his Ice Gauntlet. If you have come across him, you know what I'm talking about. And of course, healers. If you have a healer on your team, you're basically 80% more likely to win against a team that is not grouped with one. I believe in the current state of arenas, heroes are a bit too overtuned. Mostly the ability Sacred Ground and the Divine Embrace perk could use some adjusting. If you do not have a coordinated team that has weapons that inflict plague that reduce their self-healing and healing output, then it can be impossible to kill a seasoned PvP healer. Here's some gameplay of trying to take down a healer and the benefits of having a healer on my team. Okay, so you have figured out your build and are queued up for arenas. Every arena game, you'll need to pop these 3 buffs: a honing stone, desert sunrise, and your plus 48 attribute food of choice. For potions, I run infused health regen pots as my main health pot, and infused health pots as a backup if I need that immediate health. Don't worry, all these buffs and potions you use are free when you are in arenas. If you can, try not to go in arenas with other buffs like gathering efficiency boost or PvE wards, because if a player on the other team has the perk invigorated punishment, they'll be doing an additional 1% damage to you with their abilities for each additional buff you have.
No, I missed. I'm dead.
And no, new to Season 8, using a life potion will put all your other life potions on an 80% cooldown. This could help you in a pinch, since this potion will be available to pop before your last potion you consumed is. Then I always start the game with gemstone dust and oak flesh bomb, and I'll usually switch out the gemstone dust for an infused fire potion or ice potion, depending on what I find out did the most damage to me in the previous round. This is where I'll also switch out my amulet, depending on what protection is most effective to ward off my opponents. Okay, so once the match starts, the first round I generally run to the middle of the map and take a shot at each of the players and see what player I might be able to pick off the easiest. Once I have established that, I'll try to communicate that with my teammates so we are able to focus on the same player. I'll consistently be viewing my teammates because sometimes it is better to disengage from someone you are chasing and help pull an enemy off your teammate in order for them to escape. This game mode is more about staying alive and securing kills rather than just seeing who can get the most damage out there. A lot of the time I see players with low con having a bunch of damage but are the first to die and are not securing full kills. And sure, this is effective most of the time against average players, but it's not going to work against a coordinated team. Here's a pro tip for staying alive in the arena. If you notice your health bar going down fast and have a melee player chasing you, instead of running the opposite direction of them, try running away, and as soon as they do an attack, dodge into them and run past them. This helps you break the tracking, and you never want to have your back to a melee because they are usually running perks like penetrating backstab or rogue, and get free crits when hitting you in the back. If you run out of stamina, usually it's best to face the enemy and get off a couple basic attacks, and get away when you have your stamina back, then slowly walking away while they get free crits on your back. It's hard to think to do that in the moment, but something to practice being mindful of. Right now there are 2 arena maps, with the third to come out in playtest in Season 8. The first map, the Legacy Arena, is very flat with 2 big pillars that are your only source of cover. Use these pillars to kite your opponents while playing your life to get your health back. Then there's the Brimstone Sands Arena, which is more platforming and depth, where the fight usually breaks out in the middle and starts to disperse when players need to retreat and heal. I usually run arena solo, and with coming up to my 1000 win arena badge, I've spent a lot of time in this game mode. Sometimes you just need to accept when to take an L, and don't get frustrated when an occasional disconnect on your team happens, and don't throw because someone suggested you should try putting on some more con. For weapon perks, try to look out for weapons with plague crits or plague strides. It's always good to have a weapon specific perk like Keen Berserker on your hatchet, or I put Contagious Upheaval on my sword so I don't have to take up an armor slot for that perk. If you can get a weapon with the new Season 8 perk Centering Stacks that inflicts rend on your target, you'd be very lucky. A good way of getting this perk to drop is have the weapon you plan on bringing to the arena equipped, and then open your saved up OPR and arena caches. I've had a few of these caches drop me near abyss weapons with Sundering Stacks on it. For armor, I go for more sustainable perks like Freedom and Enchanted Ward, but feel free to add more perks that fit your playstyle. Another great tip is watching your favorite streamer and seeing what they do in certain situations and asking them tips about perks and builds you're interested in. Let's take a look at some more gameplay. No, occasionally someone will spam crouch button on top of your down player and type into arena chat the first insult that pops in their head. But no, as you play arenas more and tune your build, you too will find yourself having fun engaging in the playful banter this game mode brings. I had to add in the clip of my one win against the PvP healing GOAT and my company member, Saint Severa. My teammate Boking and I did a great job of planning our lives and not overcommitting to any kills. It is important to know when to get out of a fight and heal up, then to re-engage to help support your teammates. I hope to see you in the arena, and if you have any questions or tips of your own, feel free to comment that down below. If you enjoyed the content, consider checking out Yo Wombo live on Twitch.